Wajda, and I'm a reporter for Northwest PR. We are joined by Miss Stephanie Baggett, Northwest High's 2023 to 2024 Teacher of the Year. How does it feel to be nominated as a Teacher of the Year by your peers?
So being nominated by your peers makes it even more rewarding. There are a lot of great teachers at Northwest. There's a lot of teachers that I look up to. I've been teaching for a while, but I still look up. Like I tell people frequently, like I want to be Dawn Burgess when I grow up. Like that's what I say, even though I'm obviously grown up. But there's so many teachers I look up to, and knowing that they voted me as Teacher of the Year was probably one of the most rewarding parts of being selected as Teacher of the Year. We have a lot of phenomenal teachers in this building.
Definitely. What is the most rewarding part of being a teacher?
There are lots of things that are rewarding about being a teacher. I think stereotypically people are like, oh, good test scores and stuff like that. And I mean, that's nice, but that is not what brings fulfillment and joy to teaching for me. For me, what it was enjoyable about teaching is building relationships with students and seeing them grow. I teach freshmen predominantly, almost all freshmen all day. And so seeing kids go from 14-year-olds and being young and immature and a little wild and crazy to seeing them. I'm also the senior ASG sponsor, so then I get to see them again as seniors and graduating. And that is the absolute most fulfilling part of my career right now, is just seeing that growth and seeing these kids go and do like just phenomenal things, like seeing them in the workforce of the academy. Like I'll go to on site and they'll be there working, or a premiere and they'll be there working. And it's just phenomenal to see these kids you taught when they were 14 and seeing them become like adults and contributing to the world so much.
What was your favorite experience teaching?
Ever?
Yeah, ever.
That's a hard question. So I've been teaching for a while, so lots of things. I think one of my favorite experiences has been probably this year, though, with students. So I had a student who was a little bit of a behavior challenge this year, and I've been working all year with her. I'm not gonna say her name because she's a student now. But we've been working all year together, and she has shown so much growth, and like just seeing like her behavior growing and her like answering questions in class, like going from sleeping every day to answering questions every day. It has been just a great experience teaching, and just kind of like, again, seeing that growth with kids is just, it's the best part of teaching by far.
What does being a Teacher of the Year mean to you?
It means a lot. I've been teaching, this is my 9th year teaching, so I've been teaching for a little while at this point, and to be recognized and for that work you do to be recognized, it's very rewarding. Not someone who necessarily likes the spotlight to be on me, so that's been a little bit uncomfortable, but just like seeing that people recognize how much you work and how hard your job is and how hard you work has has felt good. Like it's been really great.
What relationships have been the most impactful to you?
So you have relationships with students, and those are really important. And like developing and cultivating the way you talk to kids is exceptionally important. But it's also really important to make good teacher friends. I can definitely remember my first year teaching. One of my like neighbors, like he was across the hall talking to me about how much work you do and how you have to be really conscious as a teacher that you don't burn out. And that was one of the most impactful conversations that I've ever had in my career. And so those relationships that I built with my peers have been just super important, and they have really shaped who I've become as an educator. And that, I would say, those relationships, like your teacher friends, make such a huge difference in your day.
Yeah.
Like your friends do too, I'm sure. Like makes a huge difference for you.
Yeah. How important are relationships and or friendships to your success in a career?
So important. You cannot teach by yourself. Like high school teachers think sometimes that they're in a little silo, and they're like in their little silo and they're just by themselves. But collaboration and being with your teacher friends is so important. My husband is not an educator. He does not work in education at all. He's an engineer at a place that makes some tractor parts. And he doesn't understand. Like I go home and I'll complain about my day, and he has no idea. Oh, okay. Okay. That's always his response. Oh, okay. Like, but then I talk to my teacher friends, and they are like, oh yeah, well, this happened with me too, and this is how I dealt with it. Let's talk about it. Like, I think of how many of because all of my friends are teachers. And so I think of my conversations outside of school, most of them relate around teaching in some capacity, or if not teaching, maybe like the other stuff, the other parts of our job, like new teacher mentor or ASG, or like those other things that we do. Like, what can we do for kids? Like, let's talk about it. Like, those teacher friend relationships are really the basis of like everything.
Yeah. How long have you been teaching overall at Northwest?
So this is my 6th year at Northwest. I taught for 3 years in Nashville before I was here.
Beyond teaching, what is a passion that you love to pursue?
Well, I'm going to give the most stereotypical answer ever, so don't judge me too much. As an English teacher, I love to read. That's what I do
Okay.
in my free time. Yeah, right? Like, you probably thought that's what I was going to say, and that's a stereotypical response, and I'm okay with that. I love to read. I literally just got done talking to somebody, a teacher friend, and I was like, well, I'm going to go home today. I'm going to get some takeout, and I'm going to curl up on the couch with my Kindle, and I'm going to read my book, and I'm not going to talk to anybody for like 3 hours today. Like, that's my plan. I love to read. That's why I love to teach, because I want to help other kids love to read too. So.
What did you enter the teaching profession? Well, how did you enter the teaching profession? And is it what you always wanted to do?
No, I did not want to be a teacher until I was probably like 22. I went to college. Originally, I was going to be a doctor. Very quickly discovered that math, science, not my thing, doctor, not my thing. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll be like a historian. And I was like, maybe I could be like a history professor. Like, I don't want to teach high school, but I could be like a professor. And so I went to get a master's degree in history and very quickly discovered that I did actually really love teaching. Like, I like teaching and I like interacting with students. And that's not what you do as a professor. As a professor, you grade papers and you write books a lot. And that was not what I wanted to do. So then I decided to become a high school teacher. And so I taught history and then I added English on, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah. Well, what do you love most about teaching English?
Teaching English for me, I think that when you are a good reader, you have access to information in a way that so many people don't. Being a strong reader is one of the most important things people can do to be successful after high school. Like, I can read my taxes, I can read these like really hard things. And so teaching kids to be good readers so that they can be successful in their life is why I teach English and why I keep teaching all the time.
But do teachers have favorite students?
So I think when you say favorite students, the connotation is like, I have this person I like and they get an A because I like them. And so in that sense, no, like your grade's your grade, your grade's your grade. But I think that we all have students that we build relationships with and that we can either, sometimes they're your problem kids and they aren't your problem kids anymore. So like you really kind of like you build a stronger relationship with them. Sometimes it's kids have gone through some really terrible situation where they've been in your class and they've opened up to you. But I don't think favorite in the terms of like, oh, I like this kid, so I'm going to give them an A. Like, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Well, like, that's all I have for today.
That's great.
Thank you for coming down here.
Thank you guys for interviewing me.